This is the world's largest Porsche superfactory, located in Stuttgart, Germany. This is a city that is so poor that only luxury cars are left. It covers an area of 1 million square meters, which is equivalent to the total area of 2.5 Vatican cities, several times larger than the Forbidden City in Beijing, and is also one of the most advanced automobile factories in the world. Here, Porsche has its own test track, and all sports cars produced by the Porsche factory need to be tested here. Except for some tests that can only be completed in extreme environments, Porsche can complete almost all tests in its own factory. The degree of automation in the factory is very high. Except for a few jobs, all jobs are contracted by robots or automated equipment. So even with such a large area, there are only more than 6,000 employees in the Porsche superfactory, and it doesn't feel crowded at all. All accessories on Porsche cars can be produced here, including steering wheels, interiors, engines, and other auto parts. In China, if you want to customize a Porsche sports car, it may take a long time, but here if there is no one in front of you, you may be able to drive your beloved Porsche out for a ride the next day. This is not because Porsche's production process is simple, but because the Porsche superfactory has a high degree of automation. Save a lot of time. Take Porsche's engine as an example. An engine needs to go through hundreds of steps. After completion, it needs to be sent to the inspection machine for inspection. If one item fails, it will be pulled out and manually reworked. In Porsche's engine production workshop, there are more than 40 different engines, but these engines have the same feature. They are all horizontally symmetrical 6-bar engines. Each engine will be divided into parts and sent to employees. Employees need to assemble and splice these parts. The conveyor belt runs every 2 minutes. Porsche employees need to accurately control the time interval. Ensure that there will be no problems. Assembling the engine is just a beginning. The engine will go through many steps before it can go to work. The first is the airtightness test. Only after passing the airtightness test will the engine be installed with parts including the intake pipe and exhaust pipe. After confirming that the engine is perfect, it will be sent to the warehouse by a special machine, waiting to be called and assembled into the car chassis with the gearbox exhaust pipe. What is more interesting is that Porsche's engine has always been placed horizontally. From the first car to now, this habit has been maintained and has never changed. Many repair masters are happy to repair Porsche's engine, because many repair parts of Porsche engines can still be used and do not need to be replaced all the time. The Porsche factory said that this is done to maintain user habits and does not want old customers to have obvious discomfort after changing cars. But to produce a qualified Porsche, it is not enough to just complete the chassis, but also to go through many complex processes. The first is the keel of the car body, which is what we often call the body frame. This is the most important part of Porsche production because it is directly related to safety. Almost all car safety tests are related to the body frame. To make a qualified body frame, you need to fully utilize the ductility of metal. Reducing the weight of the car body as much as possible is the secret of Porsche's leading position in the field of sports cars. In general, the body of the whole car adopts integrated molding technology. The 3 parts of the front, body and rear of the car are forged separately and then welded automatically. After more than 100 machine-intensive welding, Porsche will come to the hands of employees for the final body assembly. Workers change the assembly and measure the gap between the assemblies. Only when they are confirmed to be correct will the car be sent to the next process. Porsche will be sprayed, and before that, a layer of primer will be electroplated. The machine will soak the entire frame in the electroplating liquid, create suction between the body and the primer, evenly distribute the primer on the body, and make the body more corrosion resistant. After the primer, it is sprayed to relieve, and this work is also completely done by the machine. The first spray is the protective layer, which not only ensures that the paint will not be damaged, but also prevents the Porsche from being scratched by small stones after leaving the factory. The second step is to spray the required color. After several hours of baking to make the paint completely solidified, the Porsche will enter the Porsche assembly process. In order to prevent bumps, the doors of the Porsche will be disassembled by employees here. Sent to the subsequent links for assembly. The first thing to do is to lay the line, which is as important to Porsche as blood vessels. For employees need to complete all the excretion work within 3 minutes. In order to save space, the line assembly of all Porsche models is on the same production line, so the employees here can skillfully complete the wiring arrangement of all Porsche vehicles. The vehicle then enters the installation of the dashboard. The employees will install the dashboard on the mechanical arm in advance, and then slowly slide it into the car to be assembled to prevent damage to the parts. Before assembly, a blue pad will be placed on the dashboard. The speedometer in the middle of the dashboard is not the familiar speedometer, but the tachometer. Compared with Kimi's speed per second, the racing car is more concerned about the speed of the motor. Porsche also added an escape component to the back of each sports car to protect the head in case of rollover. The component will pop open within 1 second. After the first line is equipped with the lock-based electronic equipment and housing, it will be sent to the second production line. Here the Porsche will be suspended. Before being assembled with the chassis, all vehicles will not land. Here the mailbox will be installed for the Porsche first. The manufacturer of the mailbox describes that it is made of non-flammable polymer materials with a maximum capacity of 67 liters, which can provide a sports car with a range of 750 kilometers, so that you will not be anxious about the range when you are driving. After the mailbox is installed, it is an exciting moment to install a unique chassis for the vehicle. The combination of the body and chassis is like a marriage. Here, the computer will equip the body model and chassis model, and then send them to the designated location through the machine. When the intersection of the two meets, it is the turn of the best man. The 4 best men gently put the frame and chassis into the designated position, and then began to fine-tune the position so that the two began to accept it. In order to maintain the marriage between the car price and the chassis, the best man team will use 96 screws to strengthen the relationship of this marriage and make them inseparable. At the end of the process, several Porsche employees will take turns to install tires and interiors, the most important of which is to install protective devices. Take the Porsche 911 as an example. A Porsche 911 is equipped with at least 6 airbags, so that the owner does not have to worry about safety issues. Because the production is mainly for sports cars, every moment in the car is important. In order to minimize the weight of the car body while ensuring safety, Porsche's interior is usually made by itself, such as the leather interior on the car. First, 2 employees will check and confirm whether there are defects caused by mosquito bites, and then send it to the machine for marking, and finally cut it by a water jet. The cut leather will be handed over to professional employees for sewing, or close to the car interior. The person in charge of Porsche said that they can ensure that every car. There are some differences in the interior. The cars produced each year can only be found in the previous year or the next year. At least this year he is unique. Their philosophy has always been to customize vehicles for customers. There is a famous saying in the factory that as long as you experience the sound of the Porsche 911 once, you will become a loyal customer of the Porsche 911. The deep roar is like a beast that has just awakened, making people unable to stop. For Porsche, the sound of each Porsche is unique, just like a person's fingerprint. Want to collect sound waves? It requires a lot of advanced preparation. The first is to measure the distance. The sound collection equipment needs to be accurately distributed around the vehicle. The room for collecting sound waves is also a special wall with more than 1 meter of barriers filled around it to prevent interference during sound wave collection. During the test, dummies will be placed in the car to simulate the passenger experience to ensure that the sound produced will not make the people in the car feel uncomfortable. Now Porsche is still constantly improving its vehicles. Before each car is officially manufactured, engineers will build a 1-to-1 real model. Ensure that there will be no technical errors. However, no matter how much the engineers change the appearance of Porsche has not changed much. It has to be said that the person who designed the appearance of Porsche at that time was really a genius. In Stuttgart, Germany, in addition to Porsche's super factory, there is also a Porsche exclusive museum, which stores all the vehicles that are commemorative to Porsche. It can be said that this is a treasure trove full of legends, and the Porsche cars parked here are full of stories. For example, this is a racing car faster than F1. The lap record of Porsche 919, which has been dusted for 35 years, was ruthlessly crushed by him. The well-deserved king of the track is the pinnacle of Porsche in the history of racing. One of the cars that is closest to the drainage ditch corner. It won the manufacturer championship and driver championship in Davis 4 times in a row. It can be said that it is Porsche's honor in racing. It proves that the Porsches that can be displayed here are all former technical pioneers. More than 80 cars are telling the story of an obscure company that has gradually become today's luxury car giant. Even a well-known luxury car like Porsche 911 is not an eye-catching existence in this museum, such as this special model you have never seen before. The sports car that can only be driven was designed by the designer imitating the F1 car. Fortunately, it was never sold to the public, otherwise it is hard to imagine who would drive a toilet on the street. Not far from this car, there is a very thoughtful Porsche, which has its own surfboard. Porsche once spent a lot of money on this guy, but the final product is hard to describe. Even now, the appearance of this Porsche cannot be said to be without beauty, at least it is unacceptable. In addition to these, the Porsche 911 also cannot escape the clutches of the designer. The designer drastically transformed it into a room group model, which is the most likely project to succeed. Although the weight has increased a lot, it can still start normally. However, I don't know why it was cancelled in the end. Anyway, Porsche did not produce the second bulletproof 911. Porsche is not only sought after by foreign tycoons, but also by many Chinese celebrities. For example, Bao Bayer's earliest car was a Cherry Coupe. Later, after he became successful, his car was instantly changed to a Porsche Cayenne. Almost all luxury car collectors can't put down Porsche, even in online novels worth tens of trillions of yuan. Porsche is also the standard for most wealthy people. There is also an interesting rumor about Porsche. It is said that Porsche almost went bankrupt and was acquired. Li Ping, who loves Porsche very much, learned the news and personally designed a shape for Porsche 911, pulling Porsche back from the brink of bankruptcy. You should know that this is the most famous Chinese car designer in the world. BMW, Mercedes-Benz and other luxury cars have asked him to design them. Many well-known dream models are from his hand. It can be said that luxury cars without Li Ping's participation, no matter how expensive they are sold or how many people are chasing them, they will never be integrated into the circle of real luxury cars.